Alright. So, right. Good day, everyone. Hope you are all doing okay. So, we are meant to talk of the flex box and grid, the grid most especially. I hope you're hearing me. I hope you guys are hearing me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then positioning and the responsiveness of a website. That's what we're going to discuss. I've once treated this, but I want to expand more on this, especially the grid and the web design, which is for your responsiveness in your website. So, as I once told you, let's all be making use of W3 Schools. It's a very good platform where almost everything you need is explained. Let me just dive into grid. Let me just dive into grid. You are in my last class, Austin, right? Austin, you are in my last class, right? Hello, Austin.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you are in the last class.
Yes.
You want to say something?
I say yes, I was in the last class.
Yeah, I talked about this grid, flexible positioning, and the responsiveness. As of gift, you weren't present at that time, but you catch up. You catch up because it's just a little bit of understanding. So, from our approach, we are to look at grid. But they say grid layout is a two-dimensional layout system that allows you to create complex, responsive web design layout more easily. It's all about making the complex things look simpler. That's what grid does. Same thing with Flexbox too. So let's discuss more on grid. So over here in the matrix, so grid, they say the vertical line of grid are called column, while the horizontal are called rows. As you can see, the vertical lines of grid. The grid is this is how a grid looks like. You sectioning your work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This so the vertical line. So the vertical line is columns, while the horizontal lines are rows. So you are already used to this. I thought this in table, vertical and horizontal. So the thing is that grids have their own styling. They have their own selectors, their own properties, and their own values. That's what grid it has it. So the spaces between each column and row, they are called the gaps. Are you guys with me? I hope you guys are here with me. Are you guys with me? Austin and Gift.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
It's only you I'm hearing, Austin. Gift, what about you? Hello, Gift. Hello, Gift.
Hello, sir.
I hope you're following.
Yes, sir, I am.
Alright, so these vertical lines, these spaces between both the vertical and the horizontal. The vertical is the columns, the horizontals are the rows. So these spaces in between them are like if you are to look from it from above, these are column gaps. While from your left or your right, these are row gaps. So you take note of them. And these things can be used in styling. They say you can adjust the gap size by using one of the following properties. These are properties that are used in grids. So, for example, now the column gap property. The column gap property specifies the gap between the columns in a grid. So look at this example. If you have a work or something, you give it a class container. Now, this container is just a regular uh, selector, which you give a class in your CSS. So these are the properties and values you need to take note of that works with grid. Now you can see column gap, which they talked about, is a property, and you can use it to style your grid. Let's look at an example which they did here. So they made us use for substance. So now this is their work. They did an inline CSS. So they gave this div a class container. They named the class container and called in other stuff that are inside the div. So now 1 to 8, 1 to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now this container, this class that is inside the div that covers all other divs or other properties that are here. They called it in here container. Now these are specific stylings that can be used in grid. Display grid. Without this display grid, if I should remove it and run it, everything has gone to a normal way of calling div. Everything has gone to a normal way of calling div. I hope you could remember back then, Austin. I hope you could remember. Austin.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I
I
remember.
remember when I gave this example. So this is a particular styling. You need to know certain properties and certain values used in grid styling. So now the column gap 50x. If you look, I brought back the display now. I should run it. Now the column gap 50x. The column gap means the gap from top to down. The gap is column gap. If I should reduce it, let me reduce it to 10, and I run it. That's reduced. I see. Same thing if I should put row gap. Let me say I put row gap. Row gap is from your left to right. Um, row gap. Then into 10 px. I hope you guys know what px means. I hope you guys know what px means. Are you guys with me? Please, you guys should respond. Are you guys with me? Austin and
Yes, I'm with you, sir.
okay. So now you see the use of column gap. As I reduce it from 50 to 10, the gap has reduced. The gap from 1 to 2 has reduced. The gap from 2 to 3 has reduced. So that's the thing. But if you do row gap, you'll see there will be a gap from 1 to 4, from 2 to 5, from 3 to 6, and from 4 to 7. So as I run this row gap, if I should run it, I say row gap, row gap. So these are specific stylings that are used in grid. And it works well when you put your display grid. If I should remove this display grid and run it, all this styling, row gap, column gap, they don't take any significance. It's not making any sense here. So because of we have indicated that we want to display it as a grid, that's why the column gap, the row gap have been taken note of. Even the grid template column have been taken note of. I see. I should put 9 now. So I put 9. I run it. 9 has appeared. I see. So this is what grid does. Same thing with row gap. I give you an example of how row gap does. Now, although they have column gap, they have row gap. They have a short way of displaying both the column gap and the row gap particularly. That is just calling in gap. He said the gap property is a shorthand property for row gap and column gap. Set the gap between rows to 50 and gap between columns to 100. So when using gap property, the first calling, you can call in both your row gap and column gap. The row gap comes before the column gap. As you can see, they gave the row gap 50 and the column gap 100. You could try this. Instead of writing column gap, row gap, you could just write gap. Now, if you write gap, gap, let me say gap 20 px, and you should run. It has taken note both the row and the column 20 px.
Charles, sorry, someone is trying to join. Can you check?
Yeah. So you can see what the gap has done. It has taken note both the row and the column 20 px. You can still specify the ones you want. Let me say you want only row to be 20 px and column to be 60 px. To run it. Has taken the row as 20 px and the column as 60 px. Are you seeing? So this is what the gap property. It takes note of both the column gap and the row gap. I hope that's clear with you guys. Please do respond. I hope it's clear with you guys.
Hello, please respond so that we know that you understand. If you don't understand, ask questions, please.
Yeah, if you don't understand, just ask questions. So let's just continue. That's what the gap property does. Between rows and columns. So now they say the grid lines. The lines between columns are called the column lines. The lines between columns. While the lines between the rows are called the row lines. As you can see, the row line. We can specify what to start and end the grid item by using the following properties. Grid column start. These are properties in grid which we should take note of. I hope you guys are hearing me. These are properties in grid which each and every one of you should take note of. Not only column, not only this display grid, gap, or column gap, or row gap. These are other properties you take that works well with the display grid. So we can refer to line numbers when placing a grid item in a grid column. So they say grid column start and grid column end property. The grid column start property specifies when to start a grid item, and the grid column end property specifies when to end a grid item. So that's when you use this in your grid, in your display grid. You use this. So they say place the first grid item at column line 1 and let it end in column line 3. This is what it does. Grid column starts 1. It starts from column line 1, ending column 3. It doesn't take note, don't take the column 3, but it ends just directly before the column 3. Are you seeing? Starts from column 1, ending column 3. That's what it's saying. I don't know if you understand. Let's just take an example. Now, this is what they need. Now they made a div and called it grid container. You can call it whatever you want.
Charles.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that they're following, you can call them by name to tell you what they understand or how they understand it, or if they understand it at all, if they have questions. Just to know that they're even hearing you, understand? Instead of just continuing without any response. So you can call them by name to find out what they understand and how they understand it, or if they have questions.
No problem. Please, Austin. Austin, Gift, Christian, and Eunice. I hope you guys are with me. Please, you guys should respond. Yes, you're saying something. Gift. You're understanding, right?
Yes.
Okay, what about you, Christian?
So,
What,
I have a question.
yeah, what was the question?
You said this grid start and end this thing. We start at 1 and end at 3, but it's not rhyming with this with what I'm saying in this grid properties. Is
What I meant was, now, as you can see in the, as you could see, yeah, they say the grid column starts and the grid column start and the grid column end property. They say the grid column start property specifies where to start a grid item, and the grid column end property specifies where to end a grid item. So this is the first grid item at column 1, and let it end on column 2. So this is a div containing several things we want in it. Now they gave it a class grid. Are you with me? Grid content, and name these other ones with different classes. Now in the styling, I start giving it a display grid. I give it a display grid. So item 1, which is this, they specified item 1, the first whatsoever that is inside our grid. It must not be a div inside our div. Sorry, it must not be a div that is inside there. But whatever you're giving it, the first class, it might even be a p tag that maybe you want to use, or whatever, or even a table tag or whatever. But they use div here. So the first class they gave it, which was item 1, they specified it here. They called out item 1, and they gave it grid column start 1, grid column end 3. Are you seeing it? Grid column starts 1, grid column end 3. It's starting from 1, it's ending at 3, but it's not that it will take position of 3, but to end just before 3. Are you seeing the what he did here? Are you seeing what he did here?
yes, I've seen it.
Okay. So I hope that is clear.
Yes, sir.
So it started from 1, and just say it ended at 3. But just before 3, it's not that it took that third column, but just before 3, it ended at the beginning of 3. So it took column 1 to column 2. That's what it did there. So we left the rest, let them continue. And if I should even put, let me say, let me add something here now. So I call this item 9, item 0. So this is 0, this is 9. I decide to call in item 0, do the same thing. Do the same thing. Item 0, sorry. Item 0. So let me say grid column starts, grid column ends. I run. Okay. It should be 2. Sorry. It should be grid column start 2. Yeah. Grid column start 2. All right. So You see what 0 has done? Are you guys seeing the whole thing that is happening here? So I just did the same thing item 1 did with item 0. Yeah. So item 1 started from column 1, ended in column 3, just before 3. Item 0 started from column 4, and it's going to end at, it started from column 2, sorry, and going to end at column 4. That is the next column, but before actually 4. That's what happened there. So I hope you guys are understanding the grid column start and grid column end. Hope you guys are understanding me. Eunice, Gift, Christian, and Austin. Hope you guys are understanding. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir. Yes, I understand.
Yeah. What about you, Gift? Eunice, I've not heard you. I hope you're following up.
Yes, I am.
Okay, that's nice. What about you, Eunice?
I just joined, so I was just holding on to see if I can catch up.
Okay. Were you in the last class that we held about grid?
No, I wasn't.
You weren't in the last class.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Christian? Christian.
I understand.
Okay. So it's only you, Eunice. Well, we were talking about the grid. You are talking about the grid. Sorry. So we are talking about the grid. We made known that from our documentation that the grid is just, let me use the wording they use. The grid is a layout for 2 dimensions, is a CSS grid layout is a 2-dimensional layout system that allows you to create complex responsive web design layout more easily. You're just making the complex to look easy. That's what grid does. It's making it easy. And one of the things you need to take note of that you need to know your grid properties. You need to know your grid properties. Now, I made it known that whenever you're wanting to use grid, you must take note that you must use the property display and give it a value grid. So that when calling in other properties that concerns grid, it works with it. Without this display grid, every other property you're calling in that works with grid is useless. I hope you're following up. So we have taken note of the display. The display is a property of grid, and its property is a property of the grid, CSS grid, and its value is grid. This gives your code note that you are using a grid system for this class or whatever tag you want to style. Then we have other properties like the gap. The gap is used for giving a gap between the rows and the columns. This gap, as you see here, this is a gap. You also have if you don't want to use gap, you can specifically use the column gap. That's the column gap. Give it column gap 50 px, or you could use the row gap. The row gap 50 px is the row gap. You know, columns are vertical and rows are horizontal. So as we are going, we also took note of our grid lines. The grid lines, the lines between columns are called column lines, while the lines between rows are called row lines. So in these grid lines, you make use of these specific grid properties, which are the grid column starts, the grid column ends, the grid row starts, the grid row ends, the grid column, and the grid row. So what I just recently explained was the grid column start and grid column end, in the sense that when using it for a specific class that is inside the container holding the rest of the grid, if you should say it starts from 1 to 3, it doesn't actually end in 3, but just before 3. So what they did here for item 1. Item 1 is number 1. Number 1 started from column 1. They gave it grid column start, started from column 1, ended in 3, but not specifically at 3, but just before 3. So I gave an example, made a new item 0. started from column, grid column 2, because it's starting from the second column. And I want it to end here, but I can't put column 3. I have to put it in the next column. I gave it column 4. So it ended at 4, but just before 4. That's stopping at 3. I hope you understand me now, Miss Eunice.
Yes, I do, but the
Okay.
column that you are doing is from column 1 to column 3. So the one that you did for 0, now putting 4, how does that now exist? I don't know.
Wait, I want to understand your question. The column that I did is
From column 1 to column 3, right?
yeah.
But you said when you were doing for this item 0, you did from column 2 to column 4, but we don't
Yes.
have column 4 there.
So let me explain. So what I did from column 2 to column 4. Okay. You could see now, column 1 is this column. Column 2 is this column. Column 3 is this column. I told you columns are vertical, while rows are horizontal. This is row 1, row 2, row 3, and row 4. We have 4 rows, 3 columns. Now, for item 1, which has the 1 as its for the row. So for item 1, they said grid column starts 1. It's starting from the first column, grid column and 3. It will end at the third column. And I told you, it's not that it will end at the third column, but just before the third column, which it ended here. It covered both column 1 and column 2. Now, I now made a new item and named it item 0. And I said, let me do the same thing here. So item 0 now, if that this 0 started from, I could do 1 and 3, but it will have to start from 1 and end here. But already 9 is occupying column 1. If I should do 1 and 3, this 0 will come below. Come below 1, below 9, because it wants to occupy column 1 and end at column 3. We could try it out here. Just copy this, and put it here. If you run it, you can see it cannot push 9 away, but what it can do, it can go below 9 and do the same thing that 1 did. But I want it to be here, so I took note of it. You have to be smart in using your CSS. Where is this 0? Where is it going to start? It's going to start at the second column. Where do you want it to end? You want it to cover to column 3, but if you should do from column 2, as I wrote, from column 2 to column 3. Let me say I put 3 here. It will only stop at that 2. But if you put 4, it stops at column 3. I hope you're clear now.
Yes.
So that's what it does. So let's keep going. The grid loading. So the same thing with the grid column start and the grid column end is the same with the grid row start, the grid row end. So just look at what the grid row start does. Row 1 to row 3. It's not that it will take up row 3, but just end before row 3. That's what it does. Just end before row 3. Well, if you try it in another, if you can do the item 5, row 2 to row 4. It will not cover row 4, but it will end at row 3. You can try that out. The same way the column does, the same way row does, just that the column is for vertical, while the row is for horizontal. Is that clear with you guys? Hope that's clear. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
So, hope no question, hope no confusion. I hope no confusion.
No.
All right. So let's look at this is what you should all know about the columns and rows specifically, and try to know their properties. Try to know their properties. Try to know their properties. Their properties, you can make use of them. These are still their properties. Especially whenever you're using a grid, make sure you indicate display grid. Without this particular property, every other property is not making sense. It's not going to be, you're not going to see its usage in your work. So make sure you make use of this display grid. Now, let me look at flexbox, 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 flexbox. Flexbox is still used as grid in the sense that it's to still structure your work. It's still to make complex work look simplified. So in our documentation, we said flexbox, which is flexible box layout, is a one-dimensional layout.
Sorry, we've taught them about Flexbox.
Yeah.
I taught them about Flexbox last week.
Okay. All right. So we could leave flexbox and come to positioning, ways of positioning. Yeah, we could leave flexbox and come to positioning. Positioning. Yeah. Positioning. Such positioning. Position. CSS position. So CSS position. Okay, now we have it that the position property specifies the type of position method used for an element. And we have like 5 position methods: the static, the relative, the fixed, the absolute, and the sticky. These are 5 position methods. The position property specifies the type of position method used for an element. There are 5: static, relative, fixed, absolute, and sticky. These are the 5 position methods used, which CSS has done. Elements are then positioned using the top, bottom, left, and right properties. However, these properties will not work unless position property is set first. It's just like the grid. Every other property that has grid, it won't work unless you use the display property and give it a value grid. Every other property in grid doesn't work unless you use the display property and give it a value grid. So the same in CSS positioning. You have to identify with the property position and give it its value before using any other property position. So HTML elements are positioned static by default. Static position elements are not affected by the top, bottom, left, or right properties. An element with position static is not positioned in any special way. It is always positioned according to the normal rule of definition. So what they mean by static is, as you could see, there are some websites, when you come to them, as I'm scrolling up, this nav bar will follow and scroll up. Nothing, this one is, every other thing is going under it. I will show you how it's being done, but static, as I'm like scrolling up, they mostly use those positioning in nav bars and footers. So this nav bar will also scroll up as I'm scrolling. You won't see it, I'll be scrolling and be going. So that's the normal way. Most sites are just static, their positions are static. The div element has positions, it indicates the CSS that can be used. So Let's just look at an example. Let's look at an example. Now, element with position starting with more position, the element especially always position according to the more flow of page. As so, this is not much of an example which we need there, but still something. Still something. Okay. But I hope you guys understood the explanation of static that I gave. Hope you guys understood.
No, sir.
You didn't understand the explanation.
No.
Okay, let me define something that you can use. Define something you can use. I will give it a position. Static. Position static. So this is what we did in the last book. Let me say I have this, and then my CSS less container. This class particularly, let's okay. And now give it position static. Position static. Position static with this border. You see? Yeah, so let me remove this. Remove this. Let me remove this. Then it is here. So maybe there are a lot of write-ups in my work. I should save this and view it here. All right. So now, if I'm to scroll, because it is static, this div, this flex container I gave here, because it is static, as I'm scrolling, it follows my page and scroll. Are you seeing the difference? It's following my page to scroll, it's not stopping. But if I should go back to our website, as I'm scrolling, this nav bar is still there. You're still seeing tutorial, exercise, certificates, JavaScript, it's still there, but every other thing is going under it. But static is different. It's scrolling as I'm scrolling. It's scrolling as I'm scrolling. Are you seeing that? Is that clear with you guys? Are you guys seeing that? Christian,
Yes, sir.
Austin, Eunice, and Gifts. Please, I need your response.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you see the difference. You saw the difference. So static is what we have in our normal pages. Now, let me say a normal website. Static is what we have. Now, coming to what this website is using. They aren't using static. Instead, they are using fixed. There's a position fixed. Fixed says an element with position fixed is positioned relative to the viewport, which means it always stays in the same place even if the page is scrolling. The top, right, bottom, and left property are used to position the element. A fixed element does not leave a gap in the page where it would normally have been located. Notice the fixed element in the lower right corner of the page here is. So this is the fifth element. This div element has position. No matter how you scroll, everything is going under it. It's not moving. Same thing with this. It's fixed. No matter how you scroll. So let's say I took this position fixed. Okay. And I input it to my sorry. I put it to my work. I give it a CSS press container position fixed. I save. I should come back. I should come back. Let me see the CSS. Okay, let me use it on the flex container. Style. Okay, so see what I meant. This is position fixed. Hold on. Position fixed. Sorry, position fixed. All right, so this is position fixed. As I'm scrolling, everything is going under it. As I'm scrolling, everything is going under it. That's the same thing that happened here with this and this. Are you guys seeing the whole magic? That's the same thing that happened here with this and this. Are you guys with me?
So I want to ask a question.
Yeah, ask a question.
So when it was on static, the
I didn't hear you.
flexible.
I didn't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. So when it was on static, the
Yeah,
flexbox.
yeah,
Hello.
yeah, I can hear you. See, when it was on static, the flexbox, what happened?
Yes. Yeah, the flexbox was from. It covered the top up of the entire web page, but now that you put it on
Yeah,
fixed, the thing
yeah.
was just on one side. It was not full.
Thank you for noticing that. So it's from the styling of this work, the styling of this work. When I the position static, I even put it inside here, inside this flex container, calling out the div, which is calling out the div, these divs here, these divs here. So that static was actually on these divs, When I tried to put it in the same way, particularly the same way, position fixed here, I was having an issue. That issue was because of my styling. In the flex container styling, I gave it a display flex and align item stretch. I gave it, so these stylings were which word did I use? They were like interfering with the position fixed. They were kind of interfering with position fixed. So that's why I decided not to put it here. And I put it here. And as I put it here, it didn't, this position fixed doesn't work with this align stretch. So there's some kinds of CSS stylings that they interfere with each other. Are you guys hearing me? They interfere with each other. As you can see, static just worked well. It worked well. As I put fixed, everything became like this. There's a way you style it to be the same way as static is. But we're not doing that for now. I want to explain to you guys these various topics we have for the meantime. But if you look through your CSS well and you get to know your CSS well, you will do this position fixed. The way static was, you will do it well. Like how this is. This position fixed they gave here. As I'm scrolling, it's just going under it. As I'm scrolling, it's just going under it. What happened in this my work was just the styling. But I didn't have time to style it and every other thing. It would have appeared more pleasant to you guys. You understand now? You understand me now?
Yes.
I hope I answered your question. I hope I answered your question, Austin.
Yes, sir. It's not still clear, but I understand the tension somehow.
Yeah, it's just the styling. The styling interfered. That's why as I put position fixed, it didn't take to the end of my screen size. Yeah. But I hope you understand what the fix does. This is what it does. This is what it does. It's fixed. The same thing they use fixed here. They use fixed here. That's what fixed does. So let's move to relative. So they say an element with position relative is position relative to its normal position, setting the top, right, bottom, and left property of a relatively positioned element will cause it to be adjusted away for its normal position. Other content will not be adjusted to fit into any gap left by the element. So this is a CSS style. This element has position. So if they call them the class position relative left 30px border 30px, sorry. So an element is position relative to its normal position. Let's see what it does. See the whole magic that happens in it. All right. Let me just say I remove this extra stylings. Run it. Delete relative. Let me change the whole styling. So and I give it styling mode. Now, relative is just similar to static. Are you guys hearing me? Relative is just similar to static. As you can see, they say its position relative to its normal position, setting the top, right, left, and but it to a relative position element because it to be adjusted away from its normal position. So what it does is that now something like static, this let me say left 30 px, it won't work if it was static. It won't work if it was static. Static just remains there, but you can scroll away. Same thing with position, but relative. Now, when you want to like adjust it, 30 px, 20 px, or from your top or whatever, it works there. I don't know if you get what I mean. Like I gave it in I gave padding 20 px, has shifted away. If I should give left, left, sorry, I should give left 50 px, and I should run it, it shifts. But when you're using static or fixed, this extra styling doesn't work in them. That's what the relative now has this adjustment in it. They can push it left, right, up, down. That's what relative has. It's just like saying you want to shift this whole thing from here, you want to bring it down a little, it will shift if it were they use relative here. Do you guys get me? Hope you guys get me. Austin and the rest. Austin, Eunice, Gift, and Christian. Hope you guys are there. Hello.
Yes.
So that's what relative does. That's what relative does. Now, I've talked about fixed. Now, about absolute. Say an element with position absolute is position relative to the nearest position ancestor instead of position relative to the viewport like fixed. So, however, if an absolute position element has no position ancestors, it uses the document body and moves along with page scrolling. Note, absolute position elements are removed from normal flow and can overlap elements, which is a simple example. So now, absolute is just like a mixture of fixed and relative. Absolute is just like a mixture of fixed and relative. Imagine this was fixed. I'm scrolling. It's not moving, but it is above things I have already written. It's above it. Now, what absolute does, it will come on top what you've written or whatever stuff that is in your website, but it can still be scrolled away. That's absolute. That's absolute for you. So we could look at it. The relative position, the position, okay, this is absolute. Position absolute. They still shifted the top 80px, right, 0, width, 200, height, this, other. If you should take this now, take this, take this, and impute here. You see, I impute it here. All right, and I save it. You see, it's fixed. Okay, let me take it to the left. Let me take it to the left. Let me remove the width and height. Let me remove width and height. Alright. Let me remove right. Alright, so you see, it's just like static and still like relative in the sense that you can move it anywhere. You can move it anywhere. Let me just move it a little. Right, 10 px, 20 px, 50 px. You can move it a little. Left, left, 20 px. I move it a little. Okay, I moved a little. But yet again, I can still scroll through it. I can still scroll through it. So it's a mixture of both relative and fixed. That's static for you. It's static there. So I hope you guys are understanding. Hope you guys understand. Eunice, Gift, Christian, and Austin. I hope you guys understand.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What about you, Christian? Gifts, Eunice?
I understand.
You understand? Gift and Eunice. I hope you guys are understanding.
I don't really get it because for the relative, right? When you are scrolling, it will go up. So how is this now different? Because that one too is just on one side, and then when you scroll, it just goes up into the screen. And for this absolute too, while you are scrolling, it's also going up. So it looks as if it's the same thing. I don't really.
I explained this. I explained this. I told you, aside from static, yeah, we knew how static, all of us know how static is. Now, relative is just similar to static, but the only thing is you could move relative. You could move it. You could move it left 30 px, right 30 px, top, whatever. You could actually move it. Let me just show you. Let's take this. Let's take this. Let's take this and change this now. Take this and change this. I see. It still remains at the top. Even if I should put top this, it pushes this down. It must stay at that top. If it's I give it top, top, 20 px. See, it pushes. It's just like relative, just like static. But relative one is just it has extra functionality in the sense that you can move it. You can actually move it. I say if it were to be static, we remove all this top and left. It doesn't work with it. And we write static. And we save. It stays there. But now relative, you can actually move, shift it a little from your left, shift a little from your top, shift a little from your right, you shift it a little from bottom. That's relative, but you still scroll through it. It doesn't stay on top anything, it doesn't block anything. And then after your static and your relative, that's when we now know of the fixed, in the sense that fixed, it stays on something and you can't scroll past it. That's where fixed come in place. Fixed. Fixed comes in place. I see. And it can't scroll past it. It can't scroll past it. And then again, after the fixed, that's when the absolute came in place. In the sense that now absolute is a combination of both fixed and relatives. Absolute. 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 Now, when putting your absolute, it may seem to look like the fixed, but then again, you can move it. Let me say left. left, 50 px, 50 px. The way we remove relative, that's me 50 px, but it's still on top stuff we did like fixed. So, and but now you can scroll past it like relative. So that's just the difference. I hope you understand it now, Eunice.
Yeah, thanks.
So that's just the difference. So that's what we have for positioning. These are the positioning we use in CSS. And most of the time, positioning is mostly used in our nav bars and our footers. This is what we call a footer. A footer is that it's just like the foot of your website, the down section of your website. As you can see this footer is static. It is covering all this. It's covering all this. As I'm scrolling, it's covering it. As I'm scrolling, this thing is going below it. It's covering it. I see. So this footer is they either use fixed or they use absolute. That's it. So I see the usage in your website. I see the while this particular one is fixed. No matter how you scroll, no matter what you do, it's still there. I see the usage. So these are the positioning we have in our CSS. These are the positioning we have in our CSS. So now you have to look into responsiveness of the website, the responsive web design. That's what we talk about in media queries. So I hope you guys understood the grid and the positioning. Hope you guys understood it. Eunice, Christian, Austin, and Gift. Hope you guys understood it. I need your response so we can move ahead. Eunice, Christian, Austin, and Gift. I hope you guys understood the grid and the position.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Christian,
I did.
all right. Christian, what about you?
I understand it, sir.
Okay, Austin and Gift. Gift, I've not heard your voice for some time. Austin and Gift, I hope you guys understood the grid and the position.
Yes, I understand.
Gift, please, we need your response. Do you understand the grid and the positioning? Do you understand it? Just give us some time. Now, for a responsive web design, now, in the sense that we are using static and this and this and this, our web page needs to be responsive. Now, I told you guys that responsiveness has to do with screen view. Responsiveness has to do with screen view. In the sense that the way your website, whatever your coding, appears on your, let me say, your laptop, to have a responsive view. It might not be the same way that appearing on a laptop, but a more structured and responsive view that is not being scattered or being altered in your phone view, in your television view, in your projector view. Even in some, even if there's a way that you could view your website in your smartwatches. So screen size has to do with responsiveness has to do with screen size of different gadgets or devices. So they say, what is a responsive web design? Responsive web design makes your web page look good on all devices, on all screens, all devices. And the responsive web design uses only HTML and CSS. Responsive design web design is not a program or a JavaScript. So responsive web design it doesn't have any usage of JavaScript. JavaScript is just for functionality. JavaScript is just for functionality. So designing for the best experience. Web pages can be viewed using many different your desktop, your tablet, your phone, and whatever. This is the way it looks in the laptop. This is how it looks in the tablet. This is how it looks on phone. I see the difference. I see the difference. And that last class, I told you that whenever you're doing a work, you could check your responsiveness by just right clicking on the screen of your Chrome or whatever search engine where your website is, and just click on inspect. When you click on inspect, it goes to a full view. Over here, it goes laptop view and phone view. I see. So this is the way this website is on phone view. I see the difference. See the footer. I see the nav bar. All those things now have come here. I've made it. All those things have come here. And other extra things now are here. Scrolling. It's so responsive, but when it is on our laptop, it's wide enough. You can see everything. You can see everything. You can see everything. I see. But then again, in our phone size, this height is the website is very, very responsive. I see. And you could choose the gadgets you need. iPhone XR. This is how it is on iPhone XR. Any of you that have iPhone, you can just check it with iPhone XR. This is how it looks. I see. The responsiveness. They have this, and they still have this. I see. They made everything responsive. None of this is interfering with each other. None is interfering with each other. None is interfering with each other. None is interfering with each other. So that's why you have to deal with responsiveness.
So, sir,
Yeah, what's the problem?
why is it important that we have to check whether the thing is in good shape for when it's in laptop view?
Okay, why we have to check if it's in full view or laptop view? Is that your question? Is that your question? Austin, are you hearing me? Hello? Austin.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I didn't get your question correctly. Could you repeat?
I said why is it important that we check whether it is in the view, whether be it laptop or phone is responsive? Why I think is that my thinking was that as long as you're doing your coding right, that whether it's on phone or on laptop, that the thing is going to come out well.
Okay. Now that's a wrong thinking. That's a wrong. You could code a web page for a website using your laptop, and it looks okay in your laptop. But then again, if you should, let me say, host that your website and use your phone to view it, it is not responsive. You have to check the rest. These are part of the, let me say, the protocols in web development. Responsiveness is one of the best and one of the most needed protocols in web development. You have to make sure what you're coding, how does it appear in phone? How does it appear on tablet? How does it appear on television? How does it appear on laptop? How does it appear? So these are what you have. This is a protocol that no web developer should ignore. You get, it's needed for you to make sure what you are doing is it responsive. You could code a whole web page, it looks so nice and whatsoever, but if it's not responsive, it's taken out. It's not, it's not, it's not enticing. It has spoiled the appearance of your website. It has made it, in fact, that's what we are saying. It has made what was once beautiful ugly. So that's why we need to be checking for the responsiveness. So,
Okay, so how will we know when it's responsive or not?
okay,
How are we going to know when our web page is responsive or not?
that's what I'm teaching you now. That's what I'm teaching you. So when using HTML and CSS for responsiveness, we make use of media queries. We make use of media queries. media queries for HTML and CSS. But in recent times and in present times, there have been CSS frameworks which can make things more easier for you for your responsiveness. Now, why those frameworks came to existence? Because there are so many reviews on the complexity of media queries. The complexity of media queries is that you have to take time to put in a good number of media queries for your work to be responsive, both on phone, tablet, and laptop, and the rest. You have to put a good number of both. Now, they now made frameworks of CSS that could do that easier than using media queries. Present day web developers, they, they use media queries less and make use of these frameworks and libraries of CSS, which kind of amplifies the work easier and faster. Do you get me? So some of these frameworks are frameworks like Bootstrap, frameworks like Tailwind. There are other frameworks. You can just go to your Google CSS frameworks. You see a number of them, but the top framework these days right now in the world is Tailwind and Bootstrap. And then again, you can go to your Google and search for responsiveness of web page. The first thing that comes here is media query because every other thing came out from everything responsive, both the framework and libraries, all came out from the understanding of media queries. Sorry. Understanding of media queries. So let's dive deep. Media queries. The at-media rule is a rule introduced in CSS2 made it possible to define different style rules for different media types. Media queries in CSS3 extended the CSS2 media type idea. Instead of looking for a type of device, they look at the capability of the device. Now, CSS2 was only looking at the type of device, phone, laptop. But now CSS3 now was looking not just at the type of device, but looking at the capability of the device. Media queries can be used to check many things such as the width, the height of the viewport, the orientation, the resolution. Using media queries, a popular technique for delivering a tailored style sheet for desktop, laptop, tablets, and mobile phones, such as iPhones and Android phones. So, used for all media types. These are values and their descriptions. Values and their descriptions. So, a media query consists of a media type and can contain one or more media features which resolve to either true or false. They give an example. Add media, not only media type and media feature and feature. So this is the syntax of media query. Let me just show you. This is the syntax of media query now. As you can see, they said at media, screen, and this is at media, the media type, and the media feature. And then you put in the CSS code. Now, this at media, screen, and the media feature. This at media, screen, and media feature. The media feature, what it does is that each gadget, laptop, phone, and desktop, laptop, tablet, and has a specific media feature. Are you guys with me? I hope you guys understand it. Each gadget has a specific media feature. I even guess desktop and laptop have the same media feature. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Each gadget or each screen or each viewport has a media feature, has a specific media feature. So now let's look at some examples It's some examples. Let's look at some examples. I hope you guys are following. I hope no one is lost. Austin, Eunice, Gift, and Christian. I hope you guys are following. Hope you guys are following. So let's look at some media queries are popular techniques here. Delivering a tailored style sheet to different devices. To demonstrate a simple example, you can change the background color for different devices. So this is what media query. You can design the website and even do a media query that if it's on phone, let it be green. If it's on tablet, let it be blue. If it's on laptop, let it be orange. That's what they did here. So now, this is an example. This is an example they gave. This is an example they gave. Now, remember they said if it's on tablet, it's blue. This is tablet size. From here to here is the tablet size. That's why it's blue. If I am to shift this, I thought they could shift this. If I'm to shift this, okay, this is the laptop size that turned to orange. Are you seeing it? This is the laptop size that's turned to orange. Okay, are you seeing it? That's turned to orange. That's turned to green because it's the full size. Are you seeing it? That's what media query does. Are you seeing the whole margin? So they wrote a whole a code there besides the browser and whatever. Now at the body, background color, they give the background color and the color for the styling. Now they now did at media. Remember the media feature and the media type. You first call the media as media, the media type, screen, and the media feature. The media feature, as I told you, each device has its media feature. Say on screens that are 992 pixel wide or less, the background is blue. 992 pixel goes with screens that are on tablets. I see. I hope you guys are taking notes. 992 pixel goes with screens that are on tablets. Now on screens that are 600 pixel wide, the background is olive. The background is olive. So screens that are 600 pixel goes with full screens. Olive. Now, as of the laptop side, it is a default background color they gave it already. That the background color is tan, which is the laptop size, tan. But if it goes to tablets, it changes to the background color changes to blue, and if it goes to phone, the background color changes to olive. That's what they did there. So at default, this background color is tan, but if it appears in a tablet, it's blue. If it appears in a phone, it's olive. That's the media screen they gave there. The same way they did it, you could still do, let me say, font size. The font size. The font size, let me say font family. How many font families do we have? Let me copy a font family from here. Let me say font family. Font family. Yes. Let me just take a lot of font families. This font family. This. Now, at default, I will put this for the screens, for the laptop size at default. I'll put this. Then I will now put, I'll put this for tablet size. Tablet size. For tablet size, I'll put this. I'll put this. Then for phone size, I'll put this family. For full size, I'll put this family. If I should run it, I see. Because it's a tablet size, this font family has changed. If I should take it to laptop size, the font family has changed. If I should take it to full size, the font family has changed. Are you seeing? The same way, I could decide to change the color, maybe if it's in, okay, let it be black in laptop size. Okay, that's what they did there. In laptop size, the text is black, while in tablet size, the text is white. Okay, now in full size, let the text be, let it be, which color should we give it? Which color should we, let's say the text should be red. Let's run it. So in full size, it's red. Are you seeing? So this is what media query does. This is what media query does. So you could still use it in structuring your website. If you have a grid in laptop size, you set the grid and whatever styling you need, then still do it for tablet size, how you want it to be in tablet size, and still do it in phone size, how you want it to be in phone size. The same thing with your flex, same thing with other, let me say your table. I've taught you guys tables. Same thing with other structured things, your divs and whatever, your navbar and footers. You could do that. So I hope you guys understood. Hope you guys understood. Austin, Eunice, Christian, and Gift. Hope you guys understood. Hello, are you there with me? I hope you guys understood.
I understand.
How about you, Christian? Christian, what about you? Austin, Gift. Christian.
So I don't understand it.
You don't understand?
No, sir.
Okay, I said, I first of all said media queries is for responsiveness of web pages. Are you with me? Now, why we make use of media queries is because we need to make our work, project, or website responsive. Although in this present age, they have made available use of new CSS framework that can do that easier and better than media queries. It's not that you neglect media queries, you can still use media queries with those frameworks. But media query was the first and foremost. So, as the first and foremost, media queries is for styling and making our work responsive in different screen size, both in laptop, phones, tablet, desktop. Now, you can see what they did there. They made let this page turn to this if it's on laptop. The page color turn to this if it's on tablet. Let the page color come to this if it's on phone. So that's the code that we just checked out now. The code. They gave a default code which is for the laptop. Background color should be tan, which is this. Sorry, which is this. Background color is tan, and the color for the text are black and has the font family this. That's the code. But they now give that on screens that are 992 pixels wide or less, the background color is blue. Now, I now taught you guys that the syntax for writing media query, you first call your at media, then your media type, which is the screen, and then your media property, which is the mark suite. This mark suite, each device has its own media property. So 992 pixel is for tablets. You should take note of this. That's one thing with media query. Each device has its own media property. 992 pixel is for tablets. And so they gave they now style the body of tablet. Let the body background color be blue if it comes to tablet. Let the color for the text be white. Let the font family be this. That's what we're seeing here. If it the whole thing has turned to white, the whole place has turned blue, the font family has changed. Now they still did for phone screen. Now I told you since as the media type and the media property. So the media property for phone is at 600 pixel. The max with 600. This is how it's being written as media, screen, and max with bracket open, bracket close. You now style the body, background color, olive, the color red, and if you check for phone, I see red, olive, the font family has changed. So that is it. So I now told you guys, in case you have a table in your laptop size, you can still edit it on how it will look in your tablet and in your phone. Then with your Flexbox and the rest of them, you will know how to make it look like that in both the tablet and the phone screen size. But one thing I will advise is if you take note of the media property of both phones, tablets, and laptops, and even televisions and the rest of them. You should take note of their media property. I hope that's clear. I hope that's clear, Christian. I hope that's clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Austin and Gift, I hope you guys understood the responsiveness, media queries. Austin and Christian and Gift. We need your response.
Yes, I understand.
Gift, what about you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you guys have understood grids, understood positioning, and now you guys are understanding media queries. And what I will just give an advice to you guys, keep coming to W3 schools. You can learn a lot. And they have a good, they broke down many things, broke it down. One topic will be broken down into 5 in W3 schools. They broke it down a lot. So keep visiting W3 schools, keep using their free, try it yourself. Keep using their platform and trying it yourself. As far as your HTML and CSS, keep using it. Keep doing that. You get me? So you could call it a day. Thank God you guys have understood the grid, the positioning, and now the media queries. So before we go, can someone just tell me what is the syntax for media query, writing a media query? Are you guys with me? Eunice, Christian, Austin, and Gift. Before we go, can someone just tell me the syntax for writing a media query? Yes, Christian.
At media screen and the if it's for tablets. Now there are 92 pieces.
At media screen, at media, then screen, and the bracket open, max width. You give it, if it's tablet, 992. It's phone, 600 px. You close your bracket, and then you continue your styling. You have to know the syntax and know each device width. Each device width, you have to know it. You get me? So, thank God for today's class. Thank you all for coming around. And I hope we meet and you guys understand everything we have encountered today. So we can call it a day. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. Austin, Gift, and Unit. I'm not hearing you guys' voice.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Thank you.
All right, that's nice. That's nice. So the class you guys had last time, did they give you guys any assignments?
No, sir.
They didn't give you guys an assignment.
No assignment.
No assignment.
There was an assignment. I told you people to check Google Classroom for assignments. So from now on, your assignments will be given to you on Google Classroom. You have to go to Google Classroom to check. You won't get it on the class.
Yeah. I want to send them an assignment to do with what we
Yeah,
planned to.
just send it to me. I'll put it on Google Classroom.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
Yeah, so I want them to come out Google Classroom. So I'll drop your assignments for this week on Google Classroom. So do this week assignment and last assignment together.
All right.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I'm even talking to the students.
All right. You guys understand units and Austin and Chris.
Gifts, Austin, Christian, Eunice. Do you people understand?
Yes. We go to the Google Classroom to check for it.
Yeah, you see it there, and then you can also submit there.
Okay.
So we'll call it a day. You guys you can go now.
All right.